And joining me now is New York Democratic Congressman Gregory Meeks. He's the ranking member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Thank you so much for being here, Congressman.
Thank you for having me.
Now, today, on the way out of your caucus meeting, your colleague, Steve Cohen, said not only are Democrats not on the same page regarding President Biden, you're not even in the same book, he said. And another congressman also said there is no consensus inside the Democratic caucus. Is that what you've heard inside your meeting today? And how would you describe the mood inside the Democratic Party right now?
No, I actually thought it was a very good meeting because, this is the democratic process. And I think that Leader Jeffries is showing what a leader is all about, so that he could hear from all of the members of the Democratic caucus and the varied ideas, because I'm so glad that we are not the Republican Party who just marches in line with an individual who is a convicted felon, who has been also found guilty of assaulting a woman, who has taken away a woman's right to choose, who's never been someone that's for anybody else other than himself. And I think that's where the question really should be, as opposed to on the Democratic side, where we are having a dialogue and conversation. And I think that we're all agreed on one thing, that we cannot allow the existential threat to the United States of America and the world to become president of the United States again. And so we're working together. And what Leader Jeffries is doing by listening to all of this is, in fact, gathering all of the information and all the facts. I'm sure that he will relay to all parties involved, but ultimately the final decision is only one person's, and that is the President of the United States, Joe Biden. And he has said he's running, and I think if looking at the accomplishments that he made over the last 4 years and listening to him to talk about his agenda for the next 4 years, I have no problem, that candidate, that man, that commitment, those promises, to stand by him and re-elect him to be the President of the United States of America.
Yeah, and you just pointedly went after former President Donald Trump, so I want to ask you about him. Some of your colleagues are saying that President Biden should not run, and I'm wondering if you're concerned that the more this debate goes on among Democrats, your colleagues, about President Biden's age, that voters will not be thinking about Donald Trump, and they'll really be distracted by this conversation going on in the Democratic Party.
Well, I think that every Democrat will talk to you about Donald Trump. I think everybody knows who Donald Trump is. And I think no matter what happens on the Democratic side, we will all be together to make sure that Donald Trump is not the President of the United States.
But are you worried that the debate here is distracting voters from focusing on Donald Trump?
No, I think as long, the debate should be a debate that we should have, but it should be behind closed doors so that we can have honest conversation among ourselves and move forward, as opposed to not having the opportunity to talk. This is a democracy. It's not easy, it's messy. And so, you don't have a situation when you have a family and you don't talk to one another and be honest about what you feel. That's how you get situations resolved. That's what took place this morning. I think that is a healthy thing, not an unhealthy thing. And then I think that we have, based upon the record of the Biden-Harris team, the record of what the promises that Joe Biden made when he ran for president, the record of what has taken place in the United States House of Representatives under Republicans, and that will speak for itself, and we can all go out and articulate those facts because they are in fact facts. Unlike Donald Trump, who I think we should be talking about him taking a lie detector test, as opposed to people telling Joe Biden he has to take some tests. That guy we know is a liar, and that's not only known by Democrats. Just check out Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz in 2016. They are the ones that told the American people who he is. He's the same man now, except now he's a convicted felon.
Yeah, and I know you said that you think Democrats should be having this debate privately, but of course it's all public. A lot of this has been public, and I want to put up some of President Biden's letter he sent to congressional Democrats just yesterday, him writing this, and of course it became public. He said, "I wouldn't be running again if I did not absolutely believe I was the best person to beat Donald Trump in 2024. Do you agree with President Biden that he is ultimately the very best person the Democrats have in this moment to beat Donald Trump in 2024?
I think that, why are we having this dialogue? So let's be truthful. We're having this dialogue because Joe Biden had a horrible debate. We wouldn't be here. You know, we were talking completely different after the State of the Union. So Joe Biden had, and I think everyone admits, Joe Biden admits that it was a horrible debate. And so what happens now? Joe Biden will be out there. He's got NATO 75th anniversary taking place in Washington, D.C. right now. We will see his leadership again as he's made a tremendous difference in bringing all of the Democratic governments together. We will see him at a press conference thereafter. We'll see him at a number of town hall meetings are also taking place. And that way, everyone gets a chance to see him, to see his endurance, to see his ability to answer questions, and to show that that horrible debate was one night. But see, he's moving. I looked at the schedule. He's got a schedule that is full of things to happen, and people will see for themselves. In fact, that's what he says. He says, come watch me and show me. And looking at that schedule, it's a tough schedule. He's ready to do it, and we will fall in line.
Well, Congressman, is President Biden, though, the best person the Democrats have to beat Donald Trump in 2024?
The question is, right now, is Joe Biden, who has won the Democratic primary. You know, anybody could have been. He won the Democratic primary. He was selected and decided by members of the Democratic Party that he indeed was the individual who defeated Donald Trump before and the right individual to defeat Donald Trump again.
But respectfully, Congressman, you're not answering the question. It's a yes or no answer here. Do you think that President Biden is...
We've got talent. You know,
but is he the best person? Is the president the best person to beat Trump?
There's no one best person. We've got talent. So to tell me, to say, I'm going to say there's only one person and there's other people that I know are great talent that's in the bank, I'm not going to disparage any of the Democrats that we have here because we are a very talented group. And what the media and others are trying to do is to try to say, oh, only one man, etc. You know, and I think Joe Biden has said, you know, given the circumstances of which we're in right now, that he is the best equipped because he's been dealing with the situation for the last 4 years. So he's the best equipped, knowing all of that, to continue to move forward to complete the job. What we've had, you know, for example, what happens oftentimes in these politics, what we see is that once Democrats get in charge, you know, before finishing the job, it goes over to a Republican and the economy and everything goes down to the tanks. He has had the plan that's gotten us this far, and he understands the plan to get us through the next 4 years.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you explaining your position here, Congressman, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.